Hello, everybody, and welcome to Friday Apocryphal Podcast, your one-stop shop for everything Friday Apocryphal and podcast. And boy, do we have a show for you today. Today we are covering 2nd Enoch chapters 69 through 73.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're supposed to say.
Yep.
When
immature as hell.
when the funny number comes up.
The funny number.
Yeah, you gotta say nice. That is.
I had watched some guy's stream yesterday.
You watched some guy's 69
and
yesterday.
he had a 42069 subscriber special.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
It is. I thought I'd bring that up. I was like, yes, if somehow we ever get there.
But the next one is, of course, 69 420.
Wow.
Yeah.
Of course. Just forget.
And then the 69,
Forget,
69, 69,
500K.
69 special.
Yeah, exactly. So, those are the important numbers.
Yep.
And you know what else is an important number?
Enoch.
Chapters 69 through 73. Those are important numbers.
Yes. In this book, the Old Testament Pseudepigrapha, Volume 1, James H. Charlesworth, that's the editor. I don't know who the translator is for this, given that he's not the translator, he's the editor, right?
I think there might be a list at the very beginning of the book. So for these, the short version and the long version, because if you haven't
translated by F.I. Anderson.
Okay, thank you. If you haven't been with us for this reading, there's a longer version and a shorter version, and they differ considerably. But when it comes to these last sections, or this last section, I should say, on Melchizedek, it's not really all that different. There are some differences between manuscripts, but generally they are the same. So it's not like you're gonna get too many differences in today's reading.
Yes, and there is a little introduction in the notes here. It says, this is the Midrashim of Enoch's descendants, mainly Methuselah and Melchizedek, occupy the remaining 5 chapters. This appeared first in English as an appendix to the Morfield Charles edition of 1869, but it was dropped from APOT. I don't know if I don't think it's in an appendix in this book.
Oh, if it is, that would be interesting.
No, it's not.
Okay, so maybe a different, what's it called? A different edition, maybe?
Yeah. Bonwetch also presented it as a distinct work. Valiant followed Sokolov in recognizing its integral place as a continuation of 2nd Enoch. It has no manuscript existence as a distinct work.
Yeah.
For this reason, we have continued the chapter enumeration from 69, 5 manuscripts, A, U, B, J, and R, supply the text. Rum begins at 70:13, but J ends at 71:4. Charles did not identify the manuscript source of his translations, but it is evidently R. Valiant's main text was U, with the variants of R in his annex. Since we present A and J in our 2 versions, the complete information about these 4 witnesses is now available. In chapter 69, the textual differences between long and short manuscripts are minor. Even so, they are worthy of close attention. The Hebraic, or at least pseudo-biblical character of the original, is abundantly manifest, and the exotic character of the Semitic idioms, due to literal translation, created strains in Slav syntax. Scribal alterations often brought the language closer to the narrative style. One of the most obvious Semitisms is the repetition of a preposition in a series of coordinations, rather than using the preposition only once to govern a series of coordinated nouns. Thus, verse 1 was originally... Well, why don't I read verse 1 before I say what it was originally?
Sure. But first, Tomic, thank you for the $10. Much appreciated.
Yes, thank you. Wow. Last time I mentioned that Tomic could give us more money, and he just gave us more money than he usually does.
Yeah, you did mention that. So in the Gospel of
Thanks,
Mark,
man.
the apostles are portrayed as inept. Why do you think the writer wrote it that way? Is it so that because sorry, the screen's kind of far away from us. At least I go. Maybe my vision is just bad. Is it so that it would explain why the apostles didn't think Jesus would die? Thank you, Chris. he zoomed in.
Very useful.
You're welcome.
I honestly have no clue why they would have written it that way.
I mean, part of it could be to like further glorify Jesus as a character by surrounding him by incompetent
Or maybe like
idiots.
the people that follow him, like even they didn't think this would happen, something like that.
Mm.
That would be my best guess, but I haven't studied that aspect.
I mean, if we were to take the highly erroneous position that this was written by Mark, right, then the conclusion would have to be that Mark just didn't think very highly of the other people.
Which I don't think is likely, although it would be funny. It would be funny.
Yes. So why don't I read verse 1 and then tell you what it originally said?
Okay, great.
Why don't you?
All right. And on the third day, this is chapter 69, and on the third day, in the time of the evening, the elders of the people spoke to Methuselah, saying, stand in front of the face of the Lord and in front of the face of all the people, and stand in front of the face of the altar of the Lord, and you will be glorified in your people. And that was the first verse. So verse 1 was originally, stand in front of the face of the Lord and in front of the face of all the people, and in front of the face of the altar of the Lord. This is literal translation. All right. The noun face is redundant since lipne means in front of. If enopion were the original of this, pred would have been enough. The long manuscripts, which are identical word for word, both J and R, preserve the Hebrew idiom perfectly, but the short, A and U, have not only lost the third phrase at the beginning of a considerable lacuna, they have simplified the idiom, they dropped the preposition and kept the redundant noun, stand in front of the face of the Lord and at the face of his people. B has naturalized the idiom differently, but the telltale noun face remains. Come with us to the face of the Lord and to the face of your people and in the face of the altar of the Lord. So let me continue on here. And Methuselah answered his people, wait, O men, until the Lord, the God of my father Enoch, shall himself raise up for himself a priest over his own people.
Oh, I wonder who that's gonna be.
Is it you?
It's the namesake of the video.
Yeah, well, so
Man, I don't know who that is.
Melchizedek. So of course a very important figure. We've had some references to Melchizedek in the Hebrew Bible, of course, but in later Christian tradition, he was put on a fairly higher pedestal.
So there's disagreement here between manuscripts. Some of them say, my father, both long and short. And some of them say, your father, both long and short. And the short version is actually longer in this verse. It says, oh, the Lord, the God of your father Enoch, it is he himself who will raise up a priest over his own people.
All right, then.
Yep. And the people waited until that night in vain in the place Akuzan. Now, we've already established
we talked about
where Akuzan is.
Yeah.
Right? It's Jerusalem. And Methuselah remained near the altar and prayed to the Lord and said, O Lord, the only one of the whole world, who has taken away my father Enoch, you raise up a priest for your people, and give their heart understanding to fear your glory, and to perform everything in accordance with your will. Methuselah fell asleep, and the Lord appeared to him in a night vision, and said to him, Listen, Methuselah, I am the Lord, the God of your father Enoch, and I shall glorify you in front of the face of all the people, and you will be glorified all the days of your life, and I shall bless you. And Methuselah got up from his sleep and blessed the Lord who had appeared to him. And the elders of the people hurried to Methuselah, and the Lord God directed Methuselah's heart to give heed to the voice of the people. And he said to them, The Lord God is the one who has given grace to these people in front.
Yes. Okay. It looks like we're back.
I'll restart the sentence.
That was that thing that happens that we can't explain.
Yeah.
Okay.
So sorry about that, guys. The OBS just kind of disconnected for a second.
For some reason.
Yeah.
It's like the opposite of that thing I had last time where I snipped it in half.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now the stream is like cut up, but the live or the recording won't be.
Yeah. That's
whatever.
All right. So it says, And the elders of the people hurried to Methuselah, and the Lord God directed Methuselah's heart to give heed to the voice of the people. And he said to them, The Lord God is the one who has given grace to these people in front of my eyes today. Now, where it says the Lord God,
I'm guessing that if there's a variation or something, it maybe adds like a name or takes out a word. Like there's like you could have like the Lord God, you could have like High God, you could have like a whole bunch of different epithets for that. So I'm guessing that's that might be one of the discrepancies.
you know,
No, I don't. Please inform me, Ruben.
it has a footnote for that. And the footnote doesn't seem to actually say anything about that.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah. Like it talks about a grammatical thing that isn't even in this sentence.
All right. That's strange.
Yeah. Okay, the Lord God is the one who has given grace to these people in front of my eyes today. And Sarkasan, so R agrees with other manuscripts that the name of the first elder is Sarsan. B has only two, Sarsi and Carlus. So this name is
Sarkasan. Okay.
yeah,
That's where we're
but
going.
it could also be Sarsan or Sarsi and Carlus. Okay. And Sarkasan and Carmus and Zazas, the elders of the people, hurried and attired Methuselah in the designated garments.
Okay, so I see one of the manuscripts only has two of them, while the one that you just read has three.
No. Some of them are Sarkasan, some of them are Sarsan, and some of them are Sarsi.
Okay.
And B has only two,
Yeah,
Sarsi
that's what I
and
was-
Carlus.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yeah.
But here it's not Carlus, it's Carmus.
Okay.
So basically the elders come out. They hurried and attired Methuselah in the designated garments and placed a blazing crown on his head. And the people hurried, and they brought sheep and oxen and some birds, all of them having passed inspection, for Methuselah to sacrifice in the name of the Lord and in the name of the people.
Not good. So they are clean.
Yeah.
Probably like a year old.
Ritually clean.
Yes.
Might have some dirt on them somewhere.
And Methuselah came up to the Lord's altar, and his face was radiant, like the sun at midday rising up, with all the people in procession behind him. Sounds like how they describe the face of
Moses.
God.
Also.
Moses, yes.
Yeah, there's that. Well, the thing is, okay, so I think it's a translation issue. So like you have Moses, his face either being like super radiant or him growing horns.
Mhm.
I think those are the two different translations for that.
Yes.
That I've seen. I want to go back and look at that
Yeah.
at some point.
You can make a video about the horned Moses.
The
horns of Moses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Horny Moses.
Speaking of horns, you know what's coming up?
What?
Rosh Hashanah.
Oh,
When they blow the shofar.
okay.
Yeah. That's on Tuesday.
Are you gonna spend time with your family on that one?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, that
But-
sucks. I'm sorry.
But we do not have a shofar or a shofar blower.
You should get one.
Sure, I could. I don't know the traditional, like they have this whole procession of different shofar blows.
Yeah.
Maybe we could figure it out and do it for the channel.
Why?
I don't know. It's biblical, right?
Semi.
Yeah. They used it for a ton of things in the Bible.
Well, yeah, but like when it comes to the like all the ritualistic stuff that goes with it, that goes with Rosh Hashanah. Let's be clear here. A lot of it was based on rabbinical interpretations.
Yes. But, you know, when you think about something like Revelation, right? They have these trumpets blowing.
Yeah.
Now, is it implied that those trumpets are shofars?
I don't think so.
Because,
Well, I mean, they might be.
well, in Jerusalem or in Jewish arereas in general, they would use the shofar to blow like, oh, danger is coming.
Yeah.
Right?
So I guess they could be. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't speak Greek.
I mean, I guess I could check it, but like.
Yep. Anyways, let me continue on here. And Methuselah stood in front of the altar of the Lord with all the people standing around the place of sacrifice. And when the elders of the people had taken sheep and oxen, they tied their forelegs together and placed them at the head of the altar. And they said to Methuselah, "Pick up the knife and slaughter them in the required manner of the face of the Lord." And Methuselah stretched out his hand to heaven, and he called out to the Lord, thus saying, "Accept me, O Lord. Who am I to stand at the head of your place of sacrifice and over the head of these people? And now, O Lord, look upon your servant and upon all these people. Now all the inquiries, let them come to pass, and give a blessing to your servant in front of the face of all the people, so that they may realize that you are the one who has appointed me to be priest over your people." And it happened, when Methuselah had prayed, that the altar was shaken, and the knife rose up from the altar and leaped into Methuselah's hand in front of the face of all the people. And all the people trembled and glorified God, and Methuselah was honored in front of the face of the Lord and in front of the face of all the people from that day.
Wow. Okay. So it just.
Whoa, there was a localized earthquake, and he knew how to catch a knife. Nice.
Yeah. Really, it was really cool. I'm sure.
So it would be
Good vibrations.
It would be a really cool YouTube video.
Yeah. You know, we could do that. It's really simple. You just play the video backwards.
Oh, nice.
It's really easy.
Yep. And Methuselah took the knife and slaughtered all that had been brought by the people. And the people rejoiced greatly. And they made merry in front of the face of the Lord and in front of the face of Methuselah on that day. And then the people went off to their own shelters, each one of them. And that's the end of chapter 69.
Yeah, so
Nice.
so Methuselah gets this vision, and then when the time comes for sacrifice, he has this knife and he uses it, but then after this earthquake-ish thing, after the ground is trembling, it just comes back into his hand and he catches it like a badass.
Yeah. He's like a ninja. Well, that was chapter 69.
All right, I can
chapter 70 is another long one.
Yeah, these are longer. Yeah, definitely.
So I'll let you take over from there.
All right. Chapter 70. And Methuselah began to cough, apparently. And Methuselah began to stand at the altar in front of the face of the Lord and all the people from that day for 10 years, hoping in an eternal inheritance and having roughly taught all the earth and all his own people. So he was just at that place of where he had that position.
Yeah.
He wasn't like just standing there for 10 years.
He was the priest for 10 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And also Methuselah lived to 969 years old.
Yeah, that's a little sus, second Enoch. And there was not found one single person turning himself away in vanity from the Lord during all the days that Methuselah lived. And the Lord blessed Methuselah and was gratified by his sacrifices and by his gifts and by every kind of service which he performed in front of the face of the Lord. And when the time of the departure days of Methuselah arrived, the Lord appeared to him in a night vision and said to him, "Listen, Methuselah, I am the Lord, the God of your father Enoch. I want you to know that the days of your life have come to an end, and the day of your rest has come close. Call near the second son of your son, Lamech, born after Noah, and invest him in the garments of your consecration, and make him stand at my altar, and tell him everything that will happen in his days. For the time of the destruction of all the earth, and of every human being, and of everything that lives on the earth is drawing near." So doomsday is coming, and you better get your grandson to be the new priest.
I think that would be his second son, right?
No, the second son of your son, Lamech.
Oh,
So it would be, his grandson.
I guess.
Yeah.
I thought Enoch was Noah's grandfather.
No. It doesn't say Noah. It says no.
Does that have a footnote?
N-O-E, and there is no footnote.
Because
no.
Well, I guess maybe it was Noah then.
No.
Maybe it was supposed to be Noah.
I'm going to look at this. Okay, Enoch lived 65 years.
And this one's actually, that name is actually missing from the short version.
Okay, Enoch begot Methuselah. All the days of Enoch were 365 years. And Enoch walked with God and was no more, for God took him. And, okay, Methuselah begot Lamech.
Yeah.
Which would mean that Lamech is his son.
Yeah, Lamech is his son, but he said call near the second son of your son, Lamech.
Okay, yeah. Lamech lived 182 years, and he begot a son, and he called his name Noah, as to say,
But
this one will console
be
us for the pain of our hands.
Okay, so this would be Noah then, and then near is the second son.
Yeah, it doesn't mention a second son in Genesis when they talk about Noah's lineage, or Lamech's children.
Well,
Wait. And Lamech lived after he begot Noah 595 years, and he begot sons and daughters.
Oh, thanks.
so one of them's got to be near.
I guess.
So Near is going to be the new priest.
Do you really think his name is Near, or does it just say call your son Near?
No, call Near, N-I-R.
Near. Wow. I did not get that from reading.
Oh, okay. That's probably the confusion that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Look,
That explains
I know
it, actually.
that near is a bit far off.
Okay.
All right. So
Who
we're
the
looking
hell is
for
Near?
we're looking for a new person to man the cameras.
I'm not doing it.
Well, it's gonna be the next priest. That's who Near is. Don't you know?
I guess so, but Noah's the one who gets told about the destruction of the earth, right?
Well, so does Near apparently. For in his days there will be a very great breakdown on the earth. For each one has begun to envy his neighbor, and people against people have destroyed boundaries, and the nation wages war, and all the earth is filled with vileness. And filled with vileness and blood and every kind of evil. And even more than that, they have abandoned their Lord, and they will do obeisance to unreal gods, and to the vault above the sky, and to what moves above the earth, and to the waves of the sea, and the adversary will make himself great, and will be delighted with his deeds.
So the adversary would be the Satan, right?
It would be, yeah, that would be the only way that it would make sense, I think. Okay, so yeah, it would be exactly that.
Okay.
So will make himself great and will be delighted with his deeds to my great provocation. And all the earth will change its seasons, and every tree and every fruit will change their seeds, anticipating the time of destruction. And all the races will change on the earth by my conflagration.
Wait. Is this the explanation for where black people come from in Second Enoch? That God is like, all of the races will change on the earth because God.
Well, I don't know if it would. I wouldn't say it's necessarily black people.
It's all the races.
I would say it's like every ethnic group that's around.
I guess, but that was not addressed in the Bible.
It was not, no.
No.
So you need to read Enoch to know
Right.
where all the ethnic groups come from.
That's
Look, how can it not be in the canon? If not for Second Enoch, we wouldn't know about different ethnic groups.
obviously.
Well,
See, this explains all those ethnic groups.
that explains everything.
Because we get a whole bunch of groups in the Bible. But now, I mean, we have kind of like origin stories for them.
Is this where those stories about the sons of Ham being different race,
Something like that, yeah.
from?
The animal apocalypse sort of did this too. Changing the animals all the time.
Well, I mean,
to represent different things.
Oh yeah.
I would say that for the animal apocalypse, because I mean they did have like a whole bunch of different colors in the animal apocalypse, but they were more
Symbolic.
Yeah.
And so is this.
It might be. Then I shall give the command. The bottomless will be poured out over the earth, and the great storages of the waters of heaven will come down onto the earth in great substance and in accordance with the first substance.
So the bottomless would be the abyss.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as we know, the ocean.
Yeah, so you have the abyss opening up, and then you get those windows of heaven. The flood. And the whole constitution of the earth will perish, and all the earth will quake, and it will be deprived of its strength from that day. Then I will preserve the son of your son Lamech, his first son Noah, but we now understand that's Noah. And from his seed I will raise up another world, and his seed will exist forever until the second destruction, when once again mankind will have committed sin in front of my face. You know, he did say he wouldn't do it again. Like, it's going to be a different thing.
He wouldn't do it again that way.
Right. It's going to be a different way, yeah. Although the way this is portrayed, it's a lot different than the way apocalyptic stuff is, or even just, eschatological stuff is portrayed in the Bible. Because this suggests another great destruction, but it's not really necessarily a destruction in the Bible.
I'm thinking of that Noah movie.
Oh, didn't we watch that one together?
Yeah.
We did.
Like the really long
The
one?
giant rock glowing people as the Nephilim.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
And
that
they helped
movie,
him construct it, and that boat was made of huge trees and tar, mostly.
yeah. But in that movie, they have Methuselah, who basically is like, oh, this is going to happen to Noah, right? Which I don't think happens in Genesis,
No, I think it's God that says it.
right?
No.
So, but Noah's brother, Ner, does not appear in that movie.
No.
So the Noah movie picks and chooses pieces from Second Enoch
It does.
in order to tell the story of Noah.
Interesting. And this is kind of a bummer for Ner, right? Because he's going to become this new priest, but
he's gonna become dead.
But yeah, everything's going to die except for the line of Noah.
Yep.
Really sucks for that guy, huh? All right.
Why would you worship a god who he just tells you yeah, you're going to die and all your progeny is going to die and only this other dude.
Your
is gonna
brother.
live.
I like your brother more.
I like your brother more than you.
Yeah, and all right, so he's going to destroy everything again. And Methuselah leaped up from his sleep, and his dream was very disturbing. And he summoned all the elders of the people and recounted to them all that the Lord had said to him and all the vision that had been revealed to him by the Lord. And all the people were disturbed by his vision. And they answered him, "The Lord is Lord, and he will act in accordance with his own will. And now, Methuselah, you do everything just as the Lord has told you." And Methuselah summoned Ner, the son of Lamech, Noah's younger brother, and he invested him with the vestments of priesthood in front of the face of all the people, and made him stand at the head of the altar of the Lord. And he taught him everything that he would have to do among the people. And Methuselah spoke to the people, "Here is Ner. He will be in front of your face from the present day as a prince and a leader." And the people said to Methuselah, "Let it be so for us in accordance with your word. And you be the voice of the Lord just as he said to you." And when Methuselah had spoken to the people in front of the altar, his spirit was convulsed. And having knelt on his knees, he stretched out his hands to heaven and prayed to the Lord. And he was praying to him. His spirit went out in accordance with the will of the Lord. And Ner and all the people hurried and constructed a sepulchre for Methuselah in the place of Achuzan, very thoughtfully adorned with all holy things. So before it lists off,
He praised himself to death.
yes, basically. Yeah. And then it ends off with lamps.
Oh.
Yeah. All holy things with lamps. Got to remember those lamps. And yeah, so he says, "Hey, grandson, here's all the stuff you need to know. I'm going to die now." And then he dies.
Yes.
And then they hastily make him a grave.
I guess Lamech just got, glossed over.
Dude, that guy sucks. God doesn't want to talk about Lamech.
Nah.
No, he did enough of that already. And Ner came with many praises, and the people lifted up Methuselah's body, glorifying God. They performed the service for him at the sepulchre which they had made for him, and they covered him over. And they said, how blessed was Methuselah in front of the face of the Lord, and in front of the face of all the people. And when they wanted to go away to their own places, Ner said to the people, hurry up today and bring sheep and bulls and turtle doves and pigeons, so that you may make a sacrifice in front of the face of the Lord today, and then go away to your houses. So they just had this funeral, and the people want to go home, and Ner's like, we got to make a big sacrifice. Then you can go home.
Yeah.
And the people gave heed to Ner the priest, and they hurried, and they brought them and tied them up at the head of the altar. And Ner took the knife of sacrifice and slaughtered all that the people had brought to be sacrificed in front of the face of the Lord. And all the people made merry in front of the face of the Lord. And on that day they glorified the Lord, the God of heaven and earth, the God of Ner.
So I've got this image in my head. Like, you know those Christmas movies where at the end everyone's happy and celebrating together?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really unfortunate.
Now just imagine that, like the old claymation Christmas movies.
Oh, no.
But like the event that immediately precedes them celebrating together is this mass animal slaughter.
Dude, that sounds like something you would see in Robot Chicken.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And from that day, there was peace and order over all the earth in the days of Ner, 202 years. And then the people turned away from the Lord, and they began to be envious one against another. And people went to war against people, and race rose up against race, and struggled and insulted one another. Even if the lips were the same, nevertheless the hearts chose different things.
Where did these races come from?
Well, the thing is, okay, so I guess the way it would be viewed is that, so there was peace all over the earth, right?
Yeah.
So you would have, I think this is a similar distinction that's made in Revelation as well, where there's, so it's two things that sound the same, right? So people against people, but also race against race. So if we're taking the same, if we're taking this in the same vein as Revelation, it would be, and I'm talking specifically about the horseman thing. You would have, what would it be? No, hold on. No, sorry, not that one. In Jesus's prophecy, he talks about there's going to be war and rumors of war. They talk about nation against nation, and it seems like those things are the same, right? Like war and then nation against nation. But they're not quite, because they're talking about like the between the people themselves. So I'm guessing that would be the people went to war against people, would be amongst themselves, and then race against race would be against the actual nations.
But at this point, this isn't that long after the creation of the planet.
Right.
Stemming from two human beings.
That hasn't happened yet.
Adam and Eve hasn't happened
Oh, sorry.
yet.
I was thinking of Noah. Okay.
No, that hasn't happened
Yeah.
yet. But the Adam and Eve thing has happened. It's not that many generations after. There can't be distinct nations, like, unless you're like
900 years.
Well, this one family who lives out there, that's a nation.
Yes,
right?
Reuben, nations of one or two people that are bad.
Yeah, so you have to, like, even when like Cain, for example, right?
Yeah.
Like he went off to go do his own thing, and there were already other people around.
Which doesn't make any sense.
Right, if you take it literally, it absolutely does not make sense. You're right.
Well, I mean, the implication of the story is that you're supposed to take it literally, right?
I don't. At the time,
they wouldn't make a big deal about the first human being, literally naming him human,
right?
Right, unless they meant to say this is a story about the first human being.
Right, but if you take into account, like, for example, that, like, it wouldn't make sense for them to populate the earth so quickly that different nations start arising. Like, obviously, that wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure even back then they would have been like, yeah, a generation is kind of a long time. So I don't think that the Genesis story was meant to be taken literally. I really don't. Like, in its time. A lot of people do take it literally now, but I don't think it was.
I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't be taken literally when it was first written.
It would have been...
They knew even less about the natural world when it was first written than we do now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I would say that it stems from, like, if you look at other ancient Near Eastern cultures, like, they have creation stories that are a lot like this, but they didn't usually, like, take it literally. Like, they have, like, this explanation that's like, whatever. Like, but they didn't, like... the stories themselves were meant to portray something else.
Well, maybe among, like, the educated elite.
And who would have written it?
Yeah,
And
but,
read it.
you know, the first time that Genesis is ever read by anyone, to anyone, right, it's probably like a religious leader of a community, regardless of how large that community is. And probably... the people to whom that religious leader is talking are not the educated elite.
Right. The
now,
author.
They find this person who's delivering these words to be a trustworthy pillar of their community. And that trustworthy pillar of their community, who is the educated elite of their time, well, they are not, is telling them, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Why would they not take that literally?
I would say that, like, okay, God created the heavens and the earth. That's pretty generic stuff where they're like, obviously they don't have, like, an explanation for all this, right?
Yeah.
So that's a conclusion that, like, every culture came to.
Yeah.
That it was just divinely made. Whether or not, it doesn't matter what your other beliefs were on the topic. It was divinely made. Here it is. This is where we are now. How did we get here? So, when it comes to more detailed stuff like the Adam and Eve story, and then the stuff that precedes it, I don't think it's necessarily literal.
Well, it might not be necessarily literal, but I guarantee you, at least the less intelligent among the first group of people who ever were exposed to the story of Adam and Eve.
Yeah, in the same way that some idiot in ancient Greece would have been like, "Oh my God, look over there, that's Zeus," and, like, someone's like, "No, that's just an eagle, bro."
No, that was Zeus.
That.
Like, I feel like it's the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, obviously, like, now a whole bunch of people take it literally.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was meant to be that way.
Now, was the astronomical book in First Enoch meant to be taken literally?
I mean, it kind of lines up with ancient cosmology. So, yeah.
Yeah. But that's just as ridiculous as the Adam and Eve stuff.
It is ridiculous, but it's a totally different genre.
Yeah.
It's a totally different type of work. Where the hell was I?
You were talking about the people not believing in God anymore.
Oh, right. They, like, turned away and all that stuff. So even if the lips were the same, nevertheless, the hearts chose different things. For the devil became ruler for the third time.
The third time?
Hold on. The first was before paradise. All right.
News to me.
That's also news to me. The second time was in paradise.
Also news to me.
If you want to call him a ruler. The third time was after paradise.
Okay.
Wait.
And continuing right up to the flood. Even though, apparently...
So for the entirety of history then.
Yeah, basically. So even though there was this huge period of time where Methuselah and Ner were like, there is peace and order everywhere, even during that period of time.
Moreover, in paradise.
Right. I am checking some potential notes here.
One would
so
think
it looks,
that they would mention this.
Hold on. It does look like it's secondary.
Okay.
It does look like this is a later edition. But that's a weird edition, man. That's a really weird one. Gotta be honest here. And there arose disputation and great turbulence. And Ner the priest heard and was greatly aggrieved. And he said in his heart, in truth, I have come to understand how the time has arrived, and the saying which the Lord said to Methuselah, the father of my father Lamech. So now it is imminent. And that is chapter 70.
Wow. Hey, if you're enjoying the stream so far, give it a like, comment, share it with your friends, family, neighbors, doomed flood victims. I guess that's a little bleak, especially given the recent news.
Right. Apparently the devil ruled the whole time, according to a later edition, because that is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. So this next chapter, wow, that's pretty damn long. This next chapter is titled, in the short version, about Ner's wife.
All right, we get to learn about someone else's wife. Let's see how short this is. That's one.
Exceptionally long,
Yeah.
actually.
But also, yeah, I mean, so the second one being in paradise, right? It would make sense that that's when, because the interpretation would have been like, this is the devil here. But still, when is the first one? We didn't learn about the first one.
Yeah, before paradise.
Yeah.
He had an uprising, maybe.
And then also, if Satan or the devil or whatever is in charge in paradise, that would pretty strongly imply that he's a pretty good ruler and you probably want him in charge.
Well, see, okay, so here's the thing, right? So in paradise, he was really good, right? And then he started slacking. So he started to get kind of tricky, and then the world fell into disarray. So he was a great ruler, and then he started sucking. So we really need to get that classic devil back to restore everything to paradise.
All right. Chapter 71. Behold! The wife of Ner, whose name was Sopanim, being sterile and never having at any time given birth to a child by Ner.
Oh, no.
And Sopanim was in the time of her old age.
And I feel another miraculous birth coming on.
Yeah.
Just like, those other patriarchs.
Very common.
Yeah.
And in the day of her death, she conceived in her womb, but Ner the priest had not slept with her, nor had he touched her from the day that the Lord had appointed him to conduct the liturgy in front of the face of his people.
So he was celibate when he became a priest.
Yeah, this is a literal translation of the Slavic scholars who have seen this story as an imitation of the gospel accounts of the virginal conception of Jesus. They have been hasty and superficial. Every detail needs careful assessment. Conventional stories of the miraculous origin of a wonder child generally have such an element. There are always similarities and obvious points which could hardly be absent. Valiant is inclined to see in the language of the verse, "Vo crave imusti," a comparison between Sopanim and the Blessed Virgin Mary, but the phrase is a cliche for describing pregnancy. There are many differences between 2nd Enoch and the New Testament, and the essentials in the New Testament account are lacking. There's little resemblance between a young betrothed virgin and an old sterile married woman. While several barren wives in the Old Testament eventually gave birth with divine aid, the natural role of the husband is always recognized. The case of Sarah is made extreme only by her old age. Philo, in discussing Isaac's birth, contrasts Abraham's having a child by Hagar, which he identifies with the propedeutic and profane sciences, with the acquisition of true wisdom, which is implanted directly in the soul by God. Hence, God was the sole cause of Isaac's conception. This, of course, is pure allegory. Another story in the same lines is the birth of Noah in 1 Enoch 106.
Yeah. The birth of Noah, that was a crazy one in 1 Enoch. Also, Jason's pointed out that it is anti-Noachic, and it is also anti-Adamic, too.
The circumstances of Melchizedek's conception in 1 Enoch are closer to the conception of Mary herself in the book of James. Anna is an old but childless married woman. Her husband Joachim is a priest. They give themselves to spiritual exercises in isolation from each other. Joachim goes into the desert for 40 days to fast and pray. While he is absent, Anna becomes pregnant.
little nod there. So you know.
Yep. All right,
it's a miracle.
Let's continue on here. And when Sopanim saw her pregnancy, she was ashamed and embarrassed, and she hid herself during all the days until she gave birth. And not
wait, did you say hid as in like HID?
Yeah.
Okay. For a second, I thought you said hit. I was like, why would she hit herself?
No.
Why are you hitting
She was
yourself?
trying to get rid of the baby.
Yeah,
Right. No, she was hiding. And not one of the people knew about it. And when 282 days had been completed, and the day of the birth had begun to approach, and Ner remembered his wife, and he called her to himself in his house so that he might converse with her. And Sopanim came to Ner, her husband, and said, Behold!
Behold!
She was pregnant, and the day appointed for giving birth was drawing near. And Ner saw her.
So he really did not even see her for months.
Yeah.
Yep.
He forgot about her.
It's like, oh shit, I got a wife. I wonder if she's pregnant yet.
And Ner saw her, and he became ashamed. And he said to her, What is this that you have done, O wife? And why have you disgraced me in front of the face of these people? And now depart from me, and go where you began the disgrace of your womb, so that I might not defile my hand on account of you, and sin in front of the face of the Lord. And Sopanim spoke to Ner, her husband, saying, Oh, my Lord, behold!
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 It is the time of my old age, and the day of my death has arrived. I do not understand how menopause and the barrenness of my womb have been reversed. And Ner did not believe his wife. And for the second time he said to her, Depart from me, or else I might assault you, and commit a sin in front of the face of the Lord.
Oh, shit.
And it came to pass, when Ner had spoken to his wife Sopanim, that Sopanim fell down at Ner's feet and died. Ner was extremely distressed, and he said in his heart, Could this have happened because of my word, since by word and thought a person can sin in front of the face of the Lord? Now may God have mercy on me. I know in truth in my heart that my hand was not upon her. And so I say, Glory to you, O Lord, because no one among mankind knows about this deed which the Lord has done.
Okay, so it sounds a little sus because, he says, like, go away or I might beat the shit out of you. And then she dies and he's like, oh, no. Like, maybe I've just been listening to way too much true crime stuff recently, but this sounds like exactly like one of the cases I was listening to where this dude kills his wife and then he's like, oh, she just died. She just like, she had a heart attack or something. But he obviously killed her.
Yeah. And Ner hurried, and he shut the door of his house, and he went to Noah, his brother. And he reported to him everything that had happened in connection with his wife. And Noah hurried. He came with Ner, his brother. He came into Ner's house because of the death of Sopanim, and they discussed between themselves how her womb was at the time of giving birth. And Noah said to her, "Don't let yourself be sorrowful, Ner, my brother, for the Lord today has covered up our scandal, in that nobody from the people knows this. Now let us go quickly and let us bury her secretly, and the Lord will cover up the scandal of our shame."
Oh my God.
So, okay.
Yes, what you think is happening is happening.
Noah's like, "Yeah, we gotta hide the body, bro."
Yeah, right. Like we gotta cover this up, man. God's gonna help us out. Don't worry.
Yep.
But you gotta help me.
And they placed Sopanim on the bed, and they wrapped her around with black garments and shut her in the house prepared for burial. They dug a grave in secret. And a child came out from the dead Sopanim, and he sat at the bed at her side. And Noah and Ner came in to bury Sopanim, and they saw the child sitting beside the dead Sopanim and wiping his clothing.
Wow. Another miraculous birth with he's coming out of the womb with superpowers. I mean,
And
this
clothing.
This isn't a superpower, but yeah, he's also, he says he's washing them, right?
He's wiping his
Wiping
clothing.
them.
This is absurd.
Yep.
And Noah and Ner...
Well, I guess wiping would be a little different than washing,
Yeah.
right? So never mind.
And
But keep going. Maybe it's...
Noah and Ner were very terrified with a great fear because the child was fully developed physically like a 3-year-old.
Oh my God. Okay, never mind. yeah, he was definitely... Yep, another miraculous birth. All right.
Yeah.
Because Noah could... No, I don't think... Okay, so when Noah was born in First Enoch, he wasn't like developed... he wasn't developed physically, right?
Yeah.
He could talk.
Yeah.
But I don't think it said that he was like a toddler.
Right. The same with the alphabet of Ben Sira.
Right, yeah.
And he spoke with his lips, and he blessed the Lord. And Noah and Ner looked at him, and behold,
Behold!
the badge of priesthood was on his chest, and it was glorious in appearance. And Noah and Ner said, Behold,
Behold!
God is renewing the priesthood from blood related to us just as he pleases. And Noah and Ner hurried, and they washed the boy, and they dressed him in the garments of priesthood, and they gave him the holy bread, and he ate it. And they called his name Melchizedek.
Yes, the ever important Melchizedek.
Yes. And Noah and Ner lifted up the body of Sopanim and divested her of the black garments, and they washed her and clothed her in exceptionally bright garments, and they built a shrine for her. Noah and Ner and Melchizedek came, and they buried her publicly. And Noah said to his brother Ner, Look after this child in secret until the time, because people will become treacherous in all the earth, and they will begin to turn away from God. And having become totally ignorant, they will put him to death.
Well.
And then Noah went away to his own place. And great lawlessness began to become abundant all over the earth in the days of Ner. And Ner began to worry excessively, especially about the child, saying, How miserable it is for me, eternal Lord, that in my days all lawlessness has begun to become abundant over the earth. And I realize how much nearer our end is, and over all the earth, on account of the lawlessness of the people. And now, Lord, what is the vision about this child? And what is his destiny? And what will I do for him? Is it possible that he too will be joined with us in the destruction? And the Lord heeded Ner, and appeared to him in a night vision. He said to him, Ner, the great lawlessness which has come about on the earth among the multitude, which I shall not tolerate. And behold,
Behold! Behold.
Lots of beholds in this
Yeah,
chapter.
yeah, absolutely.
I desire now to send out a great destruction onto the earth, and everything that stands on the earth shall perish. But concerning the child, don't be anxious, near, because in a short time will I shall send my archistratege, Michael, and he will take the child and put him in the paradise of Edom. Not Eden, Edom. I guess it's Eden.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the paradise where Adam was formerly for 7 years, having heavens open all the time up until when he sinned. So I guess here Eden is a heavenly place, not a physical
I remember
location
hearing
on Earth.
some theory that Eden didn't get flooded. Remember? I don't know that it's necessarily a heavenly. Well, it definitely is divine, but
Well, no, it's on Earth, and it's the
Yeah.
yeah. So it's definitely on Earth, at least biblically speaking.
Mm.
So, well, maybe it. Can you read that verse again?
It says, and he will take this child and put him in the paradise of Edom,
Mm-hmm.
in the paradise where Adam was formerly for 7 years,
Yep.
having heaven open all the time up until he sinned.
So I guess he had access. Maybe he had access to heaven.
So there's like a portal to and from heaven in
Or maybe you
Eden?
can just communicate with heavenly things while you're in there. I guess that would kind of make sense with the theology.
I guess.
So if you're trying to like bring it back to the way it was from an eschatological point of view, then if you do have this new earth, I guess it would make sense where the ideal one would be where you could communicate with heaven.
Mm-hmm. And this child will not perish alongside those who are perishing in this generation, as I have revealed it, so that Melchizedek will be the priest to all holy priests, and I will establish him so that he will be the head of the priests of the future.
Good.
And Ner arose from his sleep and blessed the Lord who had appeared to him, saying, Blessed be the Lord, the God of my fathers, who has told me of how he made a great priest in my day in the womb of Sephanim, my wife, because I had no child in this tribe who might become the great priest. But this is my son and your servant, and you are the great God. Therefore, honor him together with your servants and great priests, with Sit and Enos and Rusi and Amilam and Prasidam and Malaliel and Serach and Arusan and Alim and Enoch and Methuselah and me, your servant, Ner. And behold,
Behold!
Melchizedek will be the head of the 13 priests who existed before. And afterward, in the last generation, there will be another Melchizedek, the first of 12 priests. And then the last will be the head of all, a great archpriest, the word and power of God, who will perform miracles greater and more glorious than all the previous ones. He, Melchizedek, will be priest and king in the place Akuzan, that is to say, in the center of the earth where Adam was created, and there will be his final grave. And in connection with that archpriest, it is written how he also will be buried there, where the center of the earth is, just as Adam also buried his own son there, Abel, whom his brother Cain murdered, for he lay 3 years unburied until he saw a bird called jackdaw, how it buried its own young. I know that great confusion has come, and in confusion this generation will come to an end. And everyone will perish, except that Noah, my brother, will be preserved. And afterward there will be planting from his tribe, and there will be other people, and there will be another Melchizedek, the head of priests, reigning over the people and performing the liturgy for the Lord.
So you got a good bit of Melchizedek's coming up. It's not going to be just the one.
I guess there's 13 priests before the flood.
That he's ruling over,
Yep.
essentially.
And then the next Melchizedek starts another 13 because there's 12 after him.
Yeah.
So that is interesting. And that is the end of chapter 71. Now, I'm going to head to the restroom.
Oh, okay. So I suppose I'll just get started on chapter 72. And when the child had been 40 days in Near's tent, the Lord said to Michael, so this one does say Michael, but the commentary does point out that some of them substituted Gabriel. Some of the manuscripts substituted Gabriel for Michael. So either way, we're going with Michael. Yeah, it looks like the short version actually does have Gabriel. Yeah, the Lord said to Michael, "Go down onto the earth to Near the priest, and take my child Melchizedek, who is with him, and place him in the paradise of Edom for preservation. For the time is approaching, and I will pour out all the water onto the earth, and everything that is on the earth will perish." Okay, so here they're officially saying, you know, this is where I am going to save Melchizedek for the next generation, or for the next generations. Michael hurried, and he came down when it was night, and Near was sleeping on his bed. And Michael appeared to him and said to him, "Thus says the Lord, Near, send the child to me whom I entrusted to you." And Near did not realize who was speaking to him, and his heart was confused. And he said, "When the people find out about the child, then they will seize him and kill him, because the heart of the people is deceitful in front of the face of the Lord." Near said to the one who was speaking, "The child is not with me, and I don't know who you are." It would be really helpful to announce, who you are if you go into someone's house at night and ask for their child.
No.
And he who was speaking to me, yeah, okay, interesting. He who was speaking to me answered, "Don't be frightened, Near. I am the Lord's." Oh man, this is so weird when it's actually not in Greek. Archistrateg. The Lord has sent me, and behold,
Behold, Reuben.
I shall take your child today. I will go with him, and I will place him in the paradise of Edom, and there he will be forever. And when the 12th generation shall come into being, and there will be 1,070 years, and there will be born in that generation a righteous man, and the Lord will tell him that he should go out to that mountain where stands the ark of Noah, your brother, and he will find another Melchizedek, who has been living there for 7 years, hiding himself from the people who sacrifice to idols, so that they might not kill him. He will bring him out, and he will be the first priest and king in the city of Salem, and that's Jerusalem, in the style of this Melchizedek. The order of Melchizedek, you could say.
Yes.
The originator.
Melchizedek.
The originator of the priests.
So we have another character who ascends and achieves immortality,
Well,
but
this
it's
one-
not an ascension to heaven. It's an ascension to Eden. So we have these differing levels of ascension that keep popping up, I guess.
Yeah.
This character is one who ascends to Eden.
Yeah, and it seems that Eden is completely immune to the flood.
Yes. And is connected to heaven.
Yeah. Kind of. It's weird. So the years will be completed up to that time, 3,432, from the beginning and the creation of Adam. And from that, Melchizedek the priest will be 12 in number until the great igumen, that is to say leader, will bring out everything visible and invisible. So I'm guessing that's where God pops up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in verse 6, that was verse 6 that I just read. Yeah, so in Actually, that was verse 7 I just read. Never mind.
Oh, well,
That was part of verse 7. It's really weird, the numbering here. So in verses 6 forward, a Christian scribe has brought in various items of learning from the Greek chronographers.
Psalm 110, verse 4, the Lord has sworn and will not relent. You are a priest forever according to the order of Melchizedek.
Exactly.
Yes.
And Ner understood the first dream and believed it. And having answered Michael, he said, Blessed be the Lord who has glorified you today for me. And now bless your servant Ner, for we are coming close to departure from this world. And take the child, and do to him just as the Lord said to you. And Michael took the child on the same night on which he had come down, and he took him on his wings, and he placed him in the paradise of Edom. And Ner got up in the morning. He went into his tent, and he did not find the child. And there was instead a joy very... Hold on, what?
Joy.
Hold on. And there was Oh, sorry, I read it wrong. And there was instead of joy, very great grief, because he had no other son except this one. Thus Ner ended his life. And after him there was no priest among the people. And from that time great confusion arose on the earth.
I feel like he just kills himself.
Yeah, pretty much.
I guess I'll read chapter 73.
Yeah, and chapter 73 is the last one, and it's short.
Yes. In fact, I'll read the short version first.
Oh, okay.
And to our God be glory always and now and always and in the ages of ages. Amen.
That's the entire short version.
Yep.
That's probably the biggest discrepancy between these final chapters in Second Enoch.
Yes. So Valiant is on firm ground when he ascribes this concluding chapter to a Christian reviser. The origin of this chapter is a question in its own right. It does not prove that all other materials found only in long manuscripts all came from the same hand. The evidence of chapter 73 does create a presumption that similar additions were made elsewhere, but each case must be judged separately on its own merits.
As is tradition.
Yeah. So let me read the long version.
Okay.
And the Lord called Noah onto the Mount Ararat, between Assyria and Armenia, in the land of Arabia, beside the ocean. And he said to him, Make there an ark with 300 lackets in length, and in width 50 lackets, and in height 30.
Does it say what a laket is? Or a laket? What was it?
Lakuti is the Slavic term for L. It has nothing to do with the Hebrew dry volume measure leket. The dimensions in cubits are the same in Genesis 6:15.
Okay.
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 And 2 stories in the middle, and its doors of 1 laket. And of their lackets 300, but of ours also 15,000, and so of theirs 50, but of ours 2,500, and so of theirs 30, but of ours 900, and of theirs 1 laket, but of ours 50.
Okay.
What?
So
There's
is this just like a conversion kind of thing?
I guess. Yeah. Yeah, it's a conversion.
Yeah, all right.
In agreement with this numeral, the Jews keep their measurements of Noah's ark, just as the Lord said to him, and they carry out all their measurements in the same way, and all their regulations, even up to the present. The Lord God opened the doors of heaven. Rain came onto the earth for 150 days, and all flesh died. And Noah was in the year 500. He fathered 3 sons, Sim, Cam, Aphat. Different names.
Yeah, slightly different, yeah.
After 100 years, after the birth of his 3 sons, he went into the ark in the month according to the Hebrews, Iuars, according to the Egyptians, Faminoth, on the 18th day.
So this last section is supposed to be where it's I guess it's universal in a sense, because they're giving you conversions and giving you different months according to different calendars.
Yes. The integration of biblical data with material gleaned from other sources is made more difficult by problems within the Genesis account itself. The name of the second month is correct. The reason for changing the biblical figures 17 and 27 to 18 and 28 is not explained. These details are not in the passages of George Hamartolos and the Kiev Chronicle quoted by Valiant. Doubtless, the entire period of the flood was intended to be one solar year, which the Kiev Chronicle has computed from Genesis 7:11 and 8:14. Valiant gives the impression that 2nd Enoch's erroneous figure of 120 days came from the Chronicle, but neither of his identified sources make such a statement. It has been worked out that Genesis contains 2 schedules for the flood. According to P, the waters prevail for 150 days. In J, the period of 40 days is mentioned 3 times.
Yeah, I do cover that in a video.
Yes. So check out the flood video after this. So Faminoth, okay. And the ark floated for 40 days. And in all, they were in the ark for 120 days. And he went into the ark, a son of 600 years. And in the 601st year of his life, he went out from the ark in the month Farmut, according to the Egyptians, but according to the Hebrews, Nisan, on the 28th day. After the flood, he lived 350 years, and he died. He lived in all 950 years, according to the Lord our God. And to him be glory from the beginning, and now and until the end of the whole era. Amen. And that is... Oh. What?
What?
What is this? Appendix, 2nd Enoch in Merilo Pravedno.
I mean, that should have been all of it. What is this? Hold on. This is also by the same guy. This
is this like an explanation? It's not the book itself. It's like
so. Merilo Pravedno, the just balance. Is the name of a celebrated collection of juridical and ethical writings of East Slavic provenance, a reference to Simeon, Bishop of Tver, who died AD 1288, as well as other evidence shows that it was compiled in the 13th century. One of the sources was 2nd Enoch. Okay, so it looks like someone... Okay, so it occupies a special place in 2nd Enoch's studies. It was in this miscellany that the existence of a Slavonic Book of Enoch was first made public. It was also the first text of 2nd Enoch ever printed. So it seems...
like this is just details about the book's conclusion.
Or the author was... The author wrote a thing that contained a lot of stuff in 2nd Enoch, is what it looks like. Not that it's like another version or anything. It's just like a later
summary.
Yeah, I guess kind of like a summary. There, it definitely hits on a lot of the stuff. It looks like. Yeah, I mean, this isn't really part of 2nd Enoch necessarily. It looks like it was just like another text that incorporated the use, or you had the use of 2nd Enoch, and it looks like it's the earliest one.
No, hold on there. Give me that. After the appendix, yes, there's 3rd Enoch.
Yeah, then we get 3rd Enoch afterwards.
So we might look over some things from that off screen. But that being said, that brings us to the end of 2nd Enoch. Now, we delivered some final thoughts about 2nd Enoch before.
Right.
So, final thoughts on the Melchizedek portion of 2nd Enoch.
You know, I was expecting it to be, miraculous birth kind of stuff. But what I was not expecting was the lead up to that, where you have like the thing with the potential, the alleged wife beating and murder, allegedly,
and Noah trying to hide a body for his brother, and Noah having a brother.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. So apparently he's got a whole lot of them.
Yeah, apparently.
But this time around that they're named.
Yeah,
at least this guy is. So yeah, there's that. But other than that, it was I don't know. It was weird. It wasn't bad.
What was the thing that? How would you know this happened except for Second Enoch that we learned?
Are you talking about like Zara Jacob, that guy?
No.
The existence of other races.
The existence of other races. Okay.
Or ethnicities. Yes. Yeah. What a weird thing.
Yeah. How would you know?
How would you know? How would you know about the moon if it weren't for First Enoch?
Yeah, exactly.
So, I don't know. The last few chapters of Second Enoch here, it's kind of cool to have some more story that leads up to the flood.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And it makes the story of Noah more complete, I think.
It does, and we learn a good amount of stuff about Near, which we didn't know any of that before. So, thank you, author of Second Enoch.
Yeah. So that is the end of the book. We hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, not sure what book we're gonna do next.
We could just do Third Enoch.
We could, but I mean,
it's a completely different story.
It is. So
maybe we'll do a poll.
Yeah, we can do a poll or something.
We can do a poll.
We got
tons of stuff.
We got a lot of them.
Yeah.
Let's just hope I can find like other commentaries for a chunk of them.
Be sure to join us on Sunday when we're going to be reading the entirety
of Joel.
And
I do have a commentary for that. So this is a commentary on both Joel and Amos from the Hermenia commentary series.
Amos follows Joel.
Yeah. And this is also, I mean, we've covered his work before, Hans Walter Wolff. So we are going to get into Joel and then Amos, both of which are covered in this. We do have some other, it seems this was written in as well, but I guess that makes sense. This is pretty old. So yeah, we have some other commentaries as well. Not for Joel. I think this is our only Joel one.
Yeah.
Aside from the ones
and Joel's pretty short.
Yeah, it is. So we're gonna cover it in an episode, and that's gonna be really nice.
Yeah. And
like that time we covered Ruth, except you weren't here for that.
No, I wasn't. In other news, we have a Patreon.
We do have a Patreon. Yep. You can get video scripts. You can win T-shirts. In fact, we are doing a T-shirt giveaway on Sunday.
And why don't you pin a T-shirt, Chris?
Yeah. How about you do that? So we have all that stuff on the Patreon, and lots more. You could be on the show. Get a lot of nifty things on our Patreon, and we also have an Amazon wish list
full of books. You can add books to this table. We'll read the books. We can make videos about the books. We can use them as references while we do this show or other shows.
You can do a lot of stuff with books. Knowledge is power.
The more you know.
Who are you talking to?
Let's see what I am. The people. I'm talking to the people. And
what people?
Yeah, right. We're just no one in here. Yeah, I know.
There's not a camera.
You're not even real.
There's no camera. We don't have a computer set up here.
This is just what we do, I guess.
Yeah.
How you exist.
Let's see what else. What else do we have? We have
Facebook and Twitter. And a Gmail, MilwaukeeAtheist@gmail.com.
We need a Lawrence diss track. Yeah. All links are in the description because Nightbot is not doing its job today. So
for some reason.
It's based on the amount of comments that there are. So yeah. Either way. There's all that stuff.
Tomek,
thank you again, man.
Do you think there will be a more secular scholarly commentary on the Quran?
Those are, I know that they're hard to come by, right?
There is no critical edition of the Quran.
Unfortunately.
Do I think
Up to
there
Ruben
will
to write one.
eventually be one?
Probably. I would say there will eventually be one. I feel like there has to be.
At some
Inevitably.
point, there probably will be one.
Yeah.
When that's going to occur, I'm not sure. I know that some people have talked about making one, but it's just never come to pass. The projects have always fallen through. I guess that eventually we'll cover the Quran, right? We have all the materials. We have a bunch of commentaries. We have a bunch of secondary literature. But I guess our commentary would be the secular commentary on the Quran.
Right. I mean,
Slightly scholarly, I guess.
slightly. We can pull up maybe some, we can post some more articles, any kind of other things we might need. I'm actually currently taking a class in the Crusades.
Oh.
And like the stuff leading up to the Crusades. So,
Tell me about the Crusades.
dude, we've had one day of class.
Yeah, well, what are the Crusades?
The entire first
and a welcome.
The entire first thing we had to read about the Crusades was we don't know how to define crusade.
Beautiful.
Oh, so you're taking a class about nothing.
Essentially. But it's like, were these things that were ordained by the Pope? Did they just have the spirit of wanting some sort of divine retribution or something? Was it something else? I don't know. Because all of them were based on slightly different circumstances, and they share some similarities, but they're not exactly the same. So trying to define them is the very first part of this course.
Great.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, with that said, we will see you
on Sunday for Joel.
Yeah,
That's the
we're
next
gonna read the
book
whole book of
because it's in
Joel.
order.